All right, let's get into this. Normally, I would be like, it's Evocati and Morphologist is already telling CIG how they could do things better. But if there's anybody that could tell CIG how they could do things better, it would, especially a hangar that is meant to be kind of our home for right now, it would be literally an architect. So I think that's what this video is. It's titled Player Hangars Could Be So Much Better, Star Citizen 324. And it looks like he designed a hangar in the thumbnail. So let's see what this is all about.
If you backed Star Citizen sometime in the past few years, you might be wondering what the heck that hangar is as part of your game package. Well, once upon a time, a long time ago, well before we had the open universe.
This isn't even the real one. These walls used to not be here, and they would extend for how many ships you had.
We had something called the hangar module. It was a single-player hangar environment in one of 4 different styles where you could spawn and tour your ships and vehicles that you owned and even view them from afar atop a personalized mezzanine and catwalk as you imagine the day that you'd finally be able to open the hangar doors and fly out into an open Star Citizen universe. Sadly though, that vision of the future never really came to pass. Instead, Star Citizen continued to develop and expand, slowly leaving that hangar module behind as a disconnected relic of a time long past, and it was eventually cut from the menus altogether around 3 years ago in patch 3.13. Leaving no place for us to display our hangar flare. But all that's about to change thanks to patch 3.24, where it's finally making its return in the form they're calling persistent hangars. But this release may not be exactly what many were imagining for a Hangar 2.0, raising the question of whether or not they will eventually ever live up or even...
I think it's more than I imagined. Specifically, what they're doing here with the ships coming out from the ground. That was a very pleasant surprise. It is incredibly slow, and it's like this really, ridiculously long animation and, the realism over everything, but and very loud. But the idea of them going that direction, I love it.
Even exceed the experience of that original hangar module. And that's what inspired me to make this video and craft some ideas on what we could possibly see in the future should CIG choose to incorporate some newer ideas into their vision, making space for way more useful and engaging things than they ever had before. And I'll show you exactly what I mean right after we segue into the sponsor of today's video, NordVPN. You've probably already heard about them from tons of creators like me, but I've legitimately used their services for years, which is why I continue to want to work with them. I got sick of using shady free VPNs that I couldn't trust with my information just so I could get access to restricted websites while I work from abroad here in Taiwan. Now I can use them to access those websites that I need and even watch shows that I really like.
Every time I see the MSR now, I keep thinking about that video I made about like adding like extra bonuses to ships, and if there is any ship that needs it, it's this one. Like it can't get, its cargo can't get scanned very easily, some shit like that. And it just makes me like, running cargo in this ship should be like a unique experience
that I need and even watch shows that I really like that aren't available here in Taiwan, like Stargate SG-1.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit older, but I love going back to watch that every so often. If you haven't watched it, you really should. It is an absolute science fiction classic. So if you're looking for a reliable VPN service and also want to help support my channel, head on over to nordvpn.com/morphologist to get a huge discount on a 2-year plan. Plus, this month you can get 4 additional months for free, plus a Saley voucher for 20 gigs. They're a new eSIM service that you can use abroad in over 150 countries. So that's nordvpn.com/morphologist, and if none of this really turns out to be for you, you can always get your money back with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Star Citizen 3.24 is introducing something called persistent hangars. These are spaces like the hangars that we have now, but are instead unique to you. These spaces are for you to spawn your ships and items in and keep in wherever you've placed them. Essentially, you can place boxes or weapons or furniture even anywhere within that space, and it will save that location for every time you return to the hangar space. effectively giving us a kind of pseudo-customizable player house that will finally be getting in this next patch. The size of the hangar will depend on the largest ship that you currently own, so if you've got, say, an 890 jump, then you'll have an extra large hangar, even for when you spawn something as small as a little Aurora. For now, though, their style
It depends.
will be tied to the landing zone that you choose, and you won't have an option to access it anywhere but from your home landing zone. At the time of the making of this video though, 3.24 is still in Evocati, so I've got no choice but to show you some official footage instead of my own, where you'll see that they're virtually identical to the hangars that we currently have, with the exception of the addition of the cargo elevator, a ship called...
Yeah, I mean, this is their footage. This is what it looks like. This was done in Evo, almost surely.
Hauling terminal right at the entrance, and a massive retracting pad and door where your ships are now presented and stored in an epic fashion. I also have Evocati access, by the way, so I can confirm that these hangars are pretty much 90% the same as what we have right now. This means then that as exciting as this new feature is, that you shouldn't be expecting to see some grand new mezzanine or little personal area to place the limited new selection of furniture that they're adding in this patch, or a place to place your hangar flare, which they've finally gotten around to physicalizing, kind of, so that you can take them out with the new cargo lift. You also shouldn't hope to see something like a cool side alcove for storing your vehicles or smaller ships, or even vehicle items. It's exactly the same way as it is right now, which is to say mostly set dressing. Yes. What it comes down to then is that persistent hangars...
Yeah, unfortunately they didn't empty the hangars for some reason, which I think everybody would find very weird. No, I don't think anybody wanted the hangars to change, but the side rooms that were in the hangars, I think people hoped that they were going to empty them. So you can make those side rooms what you wanted them to be, and not what CIG thought would look like the hangar was being used. You know what I mean? Like, you would use it instead of they would use it. But yeah, so there's just like a bunch of stuff that makes it look... It's very weird.
Are more of a necessary technical feature in order to deliver the new cargo lift and inventory physicalization that's heading the...
They basically did the tier 0 bare minimum, and bare minimum sounds very negative, which I don't, I don't care necessarily to decorate my hangar very much. They did what they needed to do to get the freight elevators in, and and item banks, stuff like that. And that's about it. They didn't do any full kind of rework of a hangar. There are self-land versions and VFG Industrial, I think, or AeroView or whatever. I'm not sure which one. There of the hangar types, of the 4 hangar types, we see 2.
The 3.24 release, meaning that they're not really going to be releasing a hangar module version 2.0 with this patch.
Exactly.
This, though, isn't meant to be a criticism of this patch, since CIG never really promised or said anything about them being a second coming of the hangar module. But that's surely not going to stop people from trying to decorate their hangars anyway with the limited space that they have. But eventually, like me, you'll probably discover that the location isn't really well suited for decorations just yet. So then what happens when they do focus on making these hangars closer to what we originally had with that hangar module?
Oh my god,
what might it look like, and how could it even be improved? Well, that's where I wanted to go with this video. That's why I made it in the first place, because I think there's clearly a need to revisit this idea, but now taking into account the way that Star Citizen has changed. By the way, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel if you think I deserve it by now.
That hangar was
so instead of just introducing the new hangars as they were originally presented back with the hangar module's original release, I think that there's an opportunity to do something a bit more interesting. At the risk of sounding a bit high in copium, I think it's time we play a little bit of the Imagine game for now, just to see what things could be with some visual aids. Apologies beforehand, by the way. On my modeling job, I only gave myself a weekend to do this, which is effectively just a rough white box model with some slapped-on textures to demonstrate my point, so hopefully it comes across. Since hangars are persistent, it offers the opportunity to give players the means to decorate and prepare their spaces
I think this is like a medium.
The way they see fit to help them prepare to get started each time they play the game. To give players agency in that preparation, then I can envision that CIG could look at these hangars like the modular ships they've been developing, where players can choose from different modules to better suit their preferences. And yeah, it might be another way for them to sell you things, but hopefully it's also a way for us to get something more useful into the game that's going to help us prepare to play much more easily than we can right now.
That's an interesting take on hangars, is making them modular and make them how you want them. Yeah, I don't think this is necessarily a good way to sell things, because I think the modules would be anything that's useful, anything that saves you time, anything that is progression type stuff. I'd rather them not sell. But if the modules were cosmetic changes to your hangar, I'm way more for it, right? But what I think he means by modules, because he's looking at like an open area that might be for vehicles or something, and the cargo grid, I think he means upgrading those, changing the cargo grid to a salvage location. Yeah, like Balrog says, like a personal bar area. Like, yeah, I think the cargo area should stay the same. I don't know if you should be able to add gameplay there, maybe. But like, what if, like, how about for like a miner, you could, this is where I like the idea. I just hope it stays for in-game credits only. What if you had refinery access in your hangar, right? Or similar to cargo access or something like that, or yeah, salvage, things like that. So that's what I think would be really cool, is that would be really fun. But again, I hope it's specifically in game. That's the only reason I paused, was please don't sell that stuff, keep it in game, because I think that's actual like game progression. Yeah, firing range, all that stuff. Pre-watched, I mean, if he says that, these are the most obvious fucking ideas of all time. It's not out of the question that I would have similar ideas to that, especially since I like mining and salvage, right? But the point that I'm trying to make is it would be a problem if they sold them. It would not be a problem if you could slap on a different looking version of the others. Like if it was all cosmetic stuff, you know, then that's what I'm for.
Current hangar design right now has no place, for example, to set down hangar flare sold on the website for years as a reward for subscribers, or a place to even put down the new furniture that's coming in 3.24. Imagine then that you could buy or craft a module in game or otherwise.
I think what he means by there's no place to put down the new furniture is that the new furniture, I don't think, snaps to places that are not the cargo grid. It snaps to cargo grids, but it does not snap to these outside areas. So if I wanted to make this my bar in my hangar, I could, but it doesn't stay locked down correctly or whatever.
That could replace a part of the wall of the standard hangar with a raised luxury mezzanine, giving you a place to display your items that you've collected over the course of playing Star Citizen, and show off to your friends as they visit your.
This is like a must. Like if we don't have a place to park vehicles, because currently you don't, you have to kind of like park them on the side. This is the bare minimum.
Your hangar, all while you look down on your prized ships and possessions.
Which comes.
Then imagine that
this is what we used to have in the hangars. So this is like an homage to what we had before. Every hangar had the base level where the ships were, but they had a little elevator or a set of stairs that would bring you above so you can look down on your stuff. Yeah. It's not just behold my stuff. It could also be, oh, look, yeah, refinery. It could be like, hey, this cargo's going there. And then you're the guy, because here's how I see the cargo patch going with multi-pickup and multi-drop-off, if and when it finally works, is this is, I'm kind of in the way, so let me move my camera. This is me. My org mates are all down here. It's the org hangar, so the org owns all these ships. I have accepted 5 multi-pickup and drop-off missions, right? Or single pickup, multi-drop-off missions from this location. I am bringing up the freight elevator for the mission. And I'm bringing up the elevator from the mission, and then I am directing, all right, we need 10 SU of cargo of this type of cargo in this ship and 15 SU of that. All right, you're out. Spawn the next ship. All right, we need 25 SU on this one and 15 of that. You're out. Spawn the next ship. And then everybody is going and doing the job, but I'm kind of managing it and directing it from up top. The way the current cargo missions work, that is legitimately how they're built out. They are meant to be done in multi-crew or take extremely long as a solo, right? It is so much more efficient to work as a group on these things. So yeah, I want to see the management from above like this. I think it would be really good.
That's the entrance instead of the one we have right now where you just enter in on the floor. Imagine how epic that could be. There are also no places to park vehicles right now, especially for larger ones like the Nova Tank or the Anvil APC. What if that same module had a place to park things down below to set out your favorite ground vehicles in preparation for using them from some kind of ground event like Jumptown or anything else? And even if it isn't for an event, it's just a great way to display your vehicles and have them out and ready for you to load up to any ship that you want when you're ready to go out and use them in the world. Alternatively, what if you just wanted a place to expand your hangar into so that you could place a parasite craft or just a smaller spacecraft so that you could prepare them?
I hope this would be another lift, just simply because the current function is very weird. So if your ship is anywhere, like if even a piece of it is over the lift, it gets stored when you try to spawn another one.
Onto a larger vehicle to fly off into space, like a Carrack or a C2. But all of these have been more about display. What about something that gives players a bit more functionality in their hangar to help them do the tasks they like doing? Imagine then, if you will, a limited refinery module that would be capable of taking small orders and even crafting items for repairing your ship on the spot in the comfort of your own hangar home. Or how about something that's a bit closer to the current new release, the new cargo update? How about a improved cargo lift module that is capable of taking out more cargo at once and comes complete with its own set of tractor beams to more easily allow you to load your ships well in the hangar, alongside perhaps a place to park your loading vehicles and push carts. I guess what I'm getting at here is that hangars have an opportunity to be more than just a place to pull your ship out of. They could be a vital part of the Star Citizen experience where you prepare and stage for doing events by yourself or with friends or even with a big organization, having things ready to go before.
I find it very odd that he says that there's no room. Like, the extra large hangars are fucking huge, man. There's definitely room to like put some things on the side. But everything outside of extra large is not, and the amount of money it takes to have an extra large hangar is quite insane. So like him showing the medium hangar is actually super appropriate, and I think like he's going about this the right way, because the average person probably won't have an extra large hangar
before you get started so that you can just hit the ground running when you want to play the game. And let's be honest with ourselves here, if you've played any kind of MMO before, then you probably know that a lot of these games have player-made housing where you display the items that you've looted over the years, a place to show off the things that you found.
Right.
Rare armor and weapons and furniture that you've located and spent years accumulating and paying for. And in this case, they're ships that you could show off. The possibilities then really are only limited by what CIG is able to come up with and develop with their resources.
Oh,
but surely, I think...
I'm sitting here thinking that this is the actual skin and the material on the skin, and I'm like, damn, that looks so good. But CIG doesn't have this level of like sheen or shine.
And now you guys are getting my point and maybe are excited about your own ideas. So what are you guys thinking about what hangars could become? Whether or not this becomes a reality, though, is entirely up to CIG. We really don't know what their plan is for the Hangar Module 2.0. They've not talked.
Yeah, we don't know what their plans are. I'm going to answer this question. If I bought a Reclaimer in-game, would I get the XL Hangar, or do I need to pledge for an appropriate size ship? They haven't exactly super answered that. They did, and they said on the initial release it would be your pledge, and then after that it might not be. And it's hard for me to answer because people who have like small or medium-sized hangars, based on the purchased ships, like money purchased, are finding that they have extra large hangars on Evo because they made in-game purchases of the larger ones. So it is a wait-and-see situation because Evo might be different than live, and I'm afraid to give you an answer and then it be wrong and then you're upset. But our experiences in Evo are probably going to differ to the way it is in live, and I would just go with what they said. So you'll probably just have your smaller medium, and then the next patch, maybe it'll change.
Talked about where it's all going. I hope then that we start to get a little bit more information from them about what their vision is of this new version of Hangars in light of this new update that's going to bring to the forefront a lot of, short.
I like the cargo extension the most, actually.
Comings and
what I'd like it to do as well is, since we have a limited amount of cargo, 1,000 SU, unfortunately, I hope that this would like double that as what, not just what the freight elevator can bring up, but how much it can hold in its like behind the scenes storage, the magic
current
storage
design, which doesn't have the necessary locations and amenities that we would come to expect from a hangar space that's persistent. But whatever the case may be, I want to know what your ideas are down below, so join the conversation. Do you like the idea of hangar modularity? What do you see this becoming? Let me know, and if you like this video, you guys know what to do. And I want to give a special thanks to those of you who were able to give me some footage of the old hangar module, since I didn't have a ton of it laying around, and to StarJump, who was able to give me some access to these awesome ship models to show off the hangar ideas here in this video.
Little collab.
Hope to see you guys in the next one.
That was a good video. I think he handled the I have Evo access and you don't very well. The hangar is the bare minimum right now, the way they're doing it, because it is way more important to get it working and find all the flaws and issues and edge cases and, oh, we didn't think of that, and players started doing that. Ooh, that's not good. So like that kind of stuff first, and then I think we can go back and start to see more cosmetic stuff, more features, more stuff like that. So yeah, it's one of those where I think it needs a little bit of time, actually, not just in Evo, not just in Wave 1, but like full patch cycle, couple patch cycles, see how we deal with it, see what we do, and kind of work off that feedback and then get it right. Now, everything Morph showed is very good, and it should be in there. The place to park your vehicles. I like the ideas of the little refinery, little crafting station, not just to repair, but if these are our homes for the foreseeable future, for them to have similar functionality to certain ships or whatever, yeah, I hope we just have to pay money in game for it if we get that. But outside of that, yeah, I love his ideas. And when it comes to this kind of stuff, I mean, Morph is usually very on point, so no surprise that he was here.